For me, scumbling in oil paint requires actually holding the brush differently. For most strokes, I hold the brush like this. But when I scumble, I like to hold it more like this because I want the brush to lay almost flat against the surface. Here I've got a light to moderately loaded hog hair medium round brush. To create a scumble mark in oil, with my brush positioned, you kind of bounce and scrub along the surface. I'm turning the brush as I move along because, unlike watercolors, the paint doesn't drop to the lowest point due to gravity. It stays where it's placed on the bristles. Now notice that I'm not covering all of the surface. That's really important. You skip along the surface, but you don't cover it completely. You can lay your brush flatter if you want, or raise it up a bit, but the look should stay the same. Now let's try the same motion with a flat brush, using the same amount of paint and the same light touch. You can see that it gives a slightly different mark. What happens if your brush is straight up and down? Well, it results in a different kind of mark. This is what the stroke looks like with a lightly loaded brush. It's more like a dry brush mark. You want a little more paint than that. So getting the right amount of paint is very important. Of course, if you have too much paint, you end up with a kind of impasto scumble, which has its uses. But a moderate load is really what we're looking for. Now, if you wanted another color, normally you would wait until the first layer is dry. But you can add it wet and wet as well. However, keep in mind that as you bounce and scrub, the paint on your brush will increasingly smear together with the base color. The yellow is taking on some of the blue and therefore looking a bit green in spots. Here's another look at it. You can see where we had the impasto scumble and the brush that was very dry. And here's where we mixed in the second color that would have been vibrant if the blue had been dry. In the next video, we'll discuss how you can practice scumbling at home